Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're diving into a philosophy that literally changed the way modern business works. Total Quality Management, or TQM for short. And trust me, it's way more than just a buzzword. It's a whole new way of thinking about excellence. We're going to break down exactly how it works right now.
So to really get what TQM is all about, you have to understand the huge mindset shift it represents. You see, for the longest time, quality control meant one thing: inspection. You'd wait until a product was completely finished and then you'd check it for mistakes. But TQM just flips that completely on its head. The whole goal isn't to get really good at finding defects, it's to build a system so good that defects don't even happen in the first place.
And that one core idea, prevention over inspection, is what turns quality from being just a final checkpoint into the actual living culture of an organization. Let's dig into what that really looks like.
So what is total quality management? Well, at its heart, it's about weaving quality into the very DNA of a company. It's not one department's job anymore. It becomes everyone's job, every single day. Every decision, from the person on the front lines all the way up to the CEO, is guided by two main things: making the customer happy and never, ever stopping the process of getting better.
Now, an idea this big didn't just pop up overnight. TQM actually has a pretty fascinating history, and it's been evolving for decades through all sorts of industrial trial and error.
It all kind of started back in the 1930s, when a guy named Walter Shewhart at Bell Labs began using statistics to control processes. But the real game changer came in the 1950s. American thinkers, guys like W. Edwards Deming and Joseph Juran, took their ideas over to post-war Japan, and they were a huge hit. This sparked what many call an economic miracle, with Japanese manufacturing setting a whole new global standard for quality. Fast forward to the 90s and 2000s, and these core ideas had grown into the global standards a lot of us recognize today, like ISO 9000 and Six Sigma.
Okay, so that's the history. But how does this all work in the real world? Well, TQM is built on a foundation of 8 core principles. You can think of them as the pillars that hold up the entire building of quality.
Yep, there are 8 of them, and we're going to walk through every single one, starting with the 2 that kind of guide everything else.
It all starts with 2 guiding lights. First, you have to be obsessed with your customer, because at the end of the day, quality isn't defined by you. It's defined by the person who's using your product. Their needs have to be your compass. And second, leadership has to be totally committed. They can't just talk the talk, they have to build the vision and create a culture where doing great work is possible.
Next up, we have the engine that drives TQM. This means total employee involvement, empowering and training everyone so they can share their ideas and skills. Then you need a process-centered approach. You standardize how work gets done so it's predictable and consistent. And finally, you have to think systematically. You have to make sure that when you improve one part of the business, you don't accidentally create a problem somewhere else. It's about optimizing the whole system, not just tweaking the little pieces.
And you know, this quote just nails the importance of that people pillar. You can have the fanciest machines in the world, but real, game-changing breakthroughs, those almost always come from the creativity and passion of your team.
And finally, what's the fuel for this engine? Well, first, it's continual improvement. You might have heard the term Kaizen. It's this idea of making small, constant improvements a permanent habit. They really compound over time. The second fuel is fact-based decision-making. You use data to find the root cause of problems, not just your gut feelings. And last, you build great relationships with your suppliers because, hey, your quality is only as good as the parts they provide.
Okay, so that's all the theory. But what actually happens when a company commits to all this? What's the real-world payoff?
And you know what? That's a totally fair question. This sounds like a lot of work. So is all that effort really worth it in the end?
The answer is a huge, resounding yes. The benefits are things you can actually see and measure. You get way more customer loyalty because you're consistently delivering what they want. Your costs go down a lot because you're not wasting money fixing mistakes. Your employees get more engaged and productive, and the whole company just becomes better at adapting to whatever the market throws at it.
This chart just lays it out so clearly. Look at the bar on the left. Before TQM, the costs from waste and mistakes are high. But once you shift your focus to prevention, look how much those costs drop. I mean, that's money that can be put back into the business to grow and innovate instead of just being thrown away to fix problems.
And that leads us to our final and maybe the most crucial point about what makes total quality management actually work long-term. So here's the thing you really have to get. TQM is not a program. It's not a project with a start date and an end date. It is a fundamental, permanent shift in the company's culture. Excellence stops being an occasional goal and becomes a daily habit, something that everyone reinforces every single day.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Think about your own world, your job, a team you're on, maybe even a personal project. Where could you shift your focus from just inspecting the final result to perfecting the process every step of the way?